On this episode of Locker Room Talk, we're going to talk about Cleveland Browns selecting their head coach, Todd Monkin. Why is everybody in the uproar for Shador Sanders making the Pro Bowl? Right here on this episode of Locker Room Talk. Let's go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is SideTalks Network, Locker Room Talk. I'm your host, Eli, like always. Hope everybody out there is doing great. Again, like and subscribe to Side Talk Sports Network and Locker Room Talk, Spin the Block, and Mile High Mindset. All right. Now, let's dive into what's going on. So, Todd Monkin, the old offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, is now the Cleveland Browns head coach. And I know everybody is kind of up in arms, I guess, for this hire. I see it as a good thing. Well, not necessarily a good thing. I'm just saying this. Tom Munkins is a well-respected coach. He had 2 national championships with Georgia. He got Lamar Jackson the MVP. Um, he's also a pretty good offensive mind. You know, there's a lot of hate going with that and stating that he's not as good as he's not a splash hire. Understandable. And one thing that I want for you guys to understand is that it don't have to be a splash hire. It has to be the right hire. So with that, with him being hired, Jim Schwartz is probably going to step away because I feel like he's really wanted the Cleveland Browns job. Um, it sucks for the defense. They will take a step back. The simple fact that is Jim Schwartz has the ear of those defensive guys, and that right there is going to maybe drop them off a bit, depending on who Todd Monken hires. Like there's Gus Bradley that's out there. There's Raheem Moore that's out there. Great defensive coordinators that Munkins can pick. But with Munkins, I want everybody to understand that this is Sky Kid, coach quarterbacks, you know? And even though he's a first time head coach, give him a chance. And I know we'll get into Emmanuel Ocho talk and stuff and say, don't tell Shador, don't listen to him. But at the end of the day, just because this is his first time being a head coach, doesn't mean you got to sign him and say don't listen to him. But we'll get into that, or he don't have strong enough voice to lead a leader, be a leader of men. Which that's you don't know until he tries it. So this is his first head coach job. Granted, I understand that it's not the big splash. It's not like Jim Harbaugh or anybody like that, but it is somebody to a new face, a new ear or new voice. I mean, and you know he works well. And one thing that one reason why I believe he was hired is because I think well I believe he believes in Shador Sanders, and I'm going to say it like that. He recruited him from Georgia, or when he was at Georgia. He also wanted to draft him when he was in Baltimore. So that kind of leads me to that place where I believe that he is the guy he believes in Shador. So I think that's the one reason why Andrew Berry hired him. Also, I believe now that the dust kind of settled on the whole Cleveland Brown thing, I believe Andrew Berry's the one that drafted Shador Sanders and wanted him to become Kevin Stefanski. I can see that. And that's one reason why the owner generally has him said, no, I didn't order him. That was on Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. But I think it's Andrew Berry that wanted him. And I just think I don't know. Something in that makes me believe that Andrew Berry's the one that uh, signed him. But now I want to get further into this where, so it was stated that, again, with Monken's hire, and they interviewed Jim Schwartz that he's not going to take the defensive coordinator job. I think he kind of felt some type of way about it, but they are losing a defensive coordinator, a good defensive coordinator at that. And there's going to be a lot of people, a lot of teams that's going to go after him as a defensive coordinator. But I don't understand. I think they agreed on or Todd Munkins and Andrew Berry agreed on keeping Jim Schwartz. I just don't think I don't think he would want to stay there if he didn't get the job, which I totally understand it. And I don't think anybody should be upset, especially Cleveland media, that he doesn't want to stay. Because at the end of the day, if I'm going for a job, I'm gonna be upset if I know I'm gonna have people or more job opportunities elsewhere, then I'll just go elsewhere. And then the whole cryptic message about with Myles Garrett, it is what it is. At the end of the day, he wants to win championships. Yes, I know, and he wants to do that. He took the money, like I said, he took the money last year to stay in Cleveland because he got it back. He had opportunity, and they were going to trade it for some assets. But I think he's just saying that because he thought he liked him as a defense coordinator. Oh man, so it's the NFL, so shit moves on, if you get what I'm saying. Now I want to dive in to probably one of the most awful takes I've heard in a long time when it comes to not just Cleveland, but in general. Emmanuel Ocho, I have no idea what this guy be talking about. Sometimes I just don't get his narratives about what he sees in Cleveland. I don't understand. He wants Shador to succeed, but turns around and I don't know how to explain it. He's back in compliments, I guess. I don't know exactly what it is, but I just don't understand how this gentleman says he's rooting for Shador, but it don't seem like he's rooting for Shador. Granted, this is not just about Shador, it's about the whole team, but I just didn't understand his logic of the hire of Todd Monken. Now let's check this out.
Todd Monkin, I believe, will lead to disappointment. There is nothing about Todd Monkin as a head coach that should get you excited. As an offensive coordinator, you could say Lamar Jackson had an MVP season under Todd Monken. As an offensive coordinator, Lamar Jackson had 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions under Todd Monken. As an offensive coordinator, you can make arguments under Todd Monken. Stetson Bennett won 2 national championships at Georgia under Todd Monken. But as a head coach, no. Nothing about Todd Monken as a head man gets me excited. I need to see who the offensive coordinator is going to be. That's what I need to see. But what I don't yet see, T, is like, how is Todd Monken going to command that locker room, command that group of men? And also, if I'm Shador or anybody in that locker room, why am I listening to Todd Monken? What have you won on an NFL level as a head coach? You're not even a head coach on an NFL level. So I don't even have expectations for Shador under Todd Monken because I believe any expectations I would have, he would not meet. Because why am I excited about it, T?
So again, Emmanuel Ocho is, I don't know, something, but it just don't make sense. I don't know what it is. His takes are completely, they're just different. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like he's always talking down to Shador. Not just that, he talks down about a lot of things. He always tries to play devil's advocate, but I don't know, just an S9 take. And this is not just for me. A whole bunch of people, you see it on Twitter, X, a lot of people, my man, who was it? So you see this one right here. You know what I mean? Like Will Compton, 100%. Even Will Compton says some wild shit at times, but this Will Compton actually has a point on this. Like, don't listen to your coach. Like, why would you want Shador not to listen to Todd Monken just because he's not a splash coach? He's not a big time hire. I know you understand that you want Cleveland to have a change in senior, not a change in coach, culture change. How do we not know Todd Monken is not a culture changer? He's never had a head coaching job, so we don't know how he's going to coach. Maybe he's one of those things they hired him for the development of Shador Sanders and whoever else quarterbacks that they're doing as a better offense. He's actually pretty good with what Cleveland has on their roster currently, other than the offensive line. He has personnel that fits his offensive play call. A lot of 12 personnel, stuff like that. So I'm not exactly sure why Ocho would go as far as says don't listen to him. Like, how do we know that he's not a good coach? Like, I just don't understand it, and it don't make sense why you're telling an NFL player not to listen to a coach because you don't like the hot. Does that make sense? I don't believe that makes sense, but that's just how I took it, and I just don't understand why would he say those things? You know what I mean? But why not give Monkins a chance and see if he can become a good NFL coach? I just don't understand it. That's something that continues to spread like wildfire on X, but still, that take was pretty heinous take there. And I get you'll combat it and making an excuse next time we're on your show. And this is what I meant. This is what I said. Don't backtrack now, brother. Just state it for what it is, man. You took a terrible take. You know what I mean? Like I just don't understand why you say these things about not just Shador. Well, you say it about Shador, and I just don't understand. Do you do you not think that they're listening to what you're saying? You say you root for Shador and you're cool with him and Coach Prime. You don't think they hear what you're saying, brother? Like you don't understand. Like they got the ears to the streets and they're hearing the shit that you're saying, bro. So don't try to later down the line pony up to any of them because there's receipts out there that you just talk mad shit about them for reasons I know. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people they move the needle, but still, dog, you just kind of out of pocket with that shit. You know what I mean? But anyway, moving on. So let's move on to your man, the man we've been talking about, your boy, the one and only. Let's move on to Shador making the Pro Bowl. Shador makes the Pro Bowl and he caused a crazy stir, or not even stir. Okay, I'm happy that he made it. Does he? Does he kind of deserve going? Not really. I'm gonna be real with you. He don't. He what? 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, all the metrics, all the data, the PFFs, and all that bullshit that people listen to or talk about how he was the worst quarterback, whatever. He made a Pro Bowl, so what? All they're going to do is play flag football anyway, and it really is not a Pro Bowl like it used to be. And one thing I'm gonna let y'all know now before we dive into the whole situation. How? No, how we got there is this is what had to happen for Shador to make it to the Pro Bowl. Right here. These guys literally in the AFC. All these guys had to literally miss or be injured or denied. So these from Patrick Mahomes is hurt, Josh Allen is hurt, Drake May's in the Super Bowl, uh Herbert hurt, Bo Nix hurt, Danny Jones hurt, Cam Ward hurt, Trevor Lawrence and CJ Stroud denied. Bo or not Bo, Joe Burrow didn't want to go. So with that, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, and the Shador haters, he's literally the almost the last AFC quarterback left on the list, really. So therefore, why everyone's causing an uproar, I have no idea. You could be mad about it. I understand he don't deserve to go per se, but he's literally going to play a flag football game and play around in little kids games. Pro Bowl's not like it used to be where Sean Taylor is taking out the punter and stuff like that. Why do people get mad? And y'all and people, media and players today, oh, that don't count, blah blah. It doesn't. The Pro Bowl doesn't matter no more. Whose fault is that? Let's be honest. Whose fault is it that the Pro Bowl ain't shit anymore? Whose fault is it that the Pro Bowl is not the Pro Bowl of old anymore? You guessed it. The players that don't never want to go play another extra game, either because they're hurt or they just don't want to get hit. So I understand why they don't want to injure themselves. I remember reason why they changed the rules because I forgot who it was that tore his ACL in the Pro Bowl game. So I understand it. So let's not get mad if Shador makes it because nobody wanted to go and everybody's hurt. What's the point? There's no reason why to even get mad about it. He just, you know what, they called him. But honestly, I think the NFL wanted to call him because people are going to tune in just to see Shador Sanders play in the flag football game. Let's just be real about it. You dig what I'm saying? So let's not get mad or or come after this kid just because, or talk down to this kid just because you are upset that the Pro Bowl ain't what it is. Or it's not his fault. It's the player's fault that don't want to go. Nobody wants to go. Hey, let him get his little thing, have fun, throw a ball around, play a little flag game, jump in the little foam pits or whatever they may do. But let's just not bitch about it because, oh, that don't mean nothing just because this kid, that man, Shador Sanders, happened to make this Pro Bowl and we're hating and people are hating and media's hate, oh, you don't deserve to go. Okay, and he don't. But all your AFC quarterbacks does not want to play or be or go. Y'all need to just relax on that. And that's the reason why. I'm gonna chalk it up as the players that want to play real football game. That's why the Pro Bowl is the worst also the games of all the major sports, and that's just what it is. Y'all can stop being mad about something that's really not that serious. Let him make the Pro Bowl. It's not like y'all really care at this point. It's more about all pros at this point. And again, oh, y'all messed up on not making my man Nick Bonito an all pro. So I don't want to hear that. He made the Pro Bowl. Congratulations, Shador. That's pretty dope. Now you can't say that he's not a Pro Bowl player. And I love the fact that the Shador haters are mad that he made a Pro Bowl. It just makes me feel great inside. I'm just being honest because y'all bash on this dude so much that every good thing that happens to him, everything he does, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna talk to you guys and support him because I've never in my life seen somebody hate somebody for doing nothing. He ain't did nothing to nobody. So don't want to hear, oh, he's arrogant. He's this. Man, he ain't arrogant. He just confident in himself. He walks with God and confident in himself. If you don't like a confident person, then let's be real. If you don't like confident person, that's something wrong with yourself, man. Let's just be real. So another thing that before we get done with this episode is Albert Beer, probably one of Shador's biggest haters, comes out and says this is the reason. I guess this is the reason the Browns took too long to hire a head coach. They asked everybody. Everybody's been talking about the test. So this is what some of the questions that they had on there. So it just says now some details about the head coaching search are coming out. According to Albert Beer, the Browns asked each candidate to write 6 answers about the role of being a head coach. What's interesting is written test mentions that the Browns' most recent starting quarterback, one of the 6 questions on the test, I'm told, was how would you develop Shador Sanders? So that right there shows that confirms what I believed in, that they were asked how do you develop Shador Sanders. And it looks like he's kind of be penciled in because at the end of the day, he showed the most flashes out of with Dylan Gabriel and himself. So I believe he could take those steps to be a great franchise quarterback. We just want to have to see if Monkins can do it. But with him getting the Pro Bowl and the head coach, you know what I mean, and him shouting out his head coach, if y'all didn't see that on Instagram, I believe Shador could take those next steps. Finally, with somebody that's going to want to build around him, which Monken is probably picked because, like I said, he was recruiting Shador out of high school to go to Georgia. Now, I say this, and this is something that I've been thinking about since Shador's been drafted. If he went to a powerhouse school, as in a Georgia, Alabama, all the schools that were actually recruiting him, and he played like he played in Colorado, he'd be a first round pick, and nobody would say anything. Also, I also heard that if he was a first round pick, the way he played this year would be talked about differently, which I feel like that's unfair just because he's a 5th round pick. That don't mean his talent is different than a first round pick. So I don't understand that. I don't understand Cleveland media and how it seems like Cleveland media wants to tear um, people down in their own, tear their players down in a way. I don't know. They did it with Baker, did it with a couple other people, man. And I guarantee if Myles Garrett would have left last year, they probably kind of would have tore him down too. So that's just what I kind of see on how that goes. But there's going to be receipts, man. Time will tell how this goes. And I believe Cleveland fans should be happy. Well, the Cleveland Browns fans that are Shador supporters should be happy that Todd Monkin took this job because I feel like he is one that would want to develop Shador Sanders. And I believe that Shador's going to be the starter just because this hire. I seen the writing on the wall when Munkins tried to recruit him out of high school and wanted to draft him to the Baltimore Ravens to develop him. So I totally see that. So that's a good thing for Shador fans or Cleveland fans that support Shador. So again, and again, y'all stop hating on this Pro Bowl nod. But that's my time for this evening's locker room talk. Again, like, subscribe to Side Talk Sports Network, where you can catch all the shows we have. Spin the Block, and that comes on every Sunday at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. My Higher Mindset that comes out Fridays at 9 p.m. And stay tuned for the latest updates for Locker Room Talk with me, your boy E. Again, like, subscribe to the Side Talk Sports Network. Till the next time, we're gonna dive in. Next time, we're gonna dive into more of the draft and pregame some of the Super Bowl stuff. And this Sunday, we're really gonna dive into what's going on with Bill Belichick not making the Hall of Fame first ballot, which is kind of crazy. He has 6 rings. We'll get into that. But again, thanks for tuning in. We see you next time. For the next time, peace.